Okay, I've got maybe 10 minutes. We'll start here. This has not been prepared. It's all extemporaneous. Let's start with this. The opposite of love is not hate. It's indifference. The opposite of art is not ugliness. It's indifference. The opposite of faith is not heresy. It's indifference. And the opposite of life is not death. It's indifference. Elie Wiesel, a survivor of Hitler's concentration camps, camps that we tried to deny. We turned away the Jews in 38, 39, sent them to the deaths if they had to go back to the port they came from, perhaps. So many Jews. We finally woke up to it, but we did not do ourselves proud. More proud than the French, more proud than the Polish, who turned their Jews in primarily. Not quite as proud as some Dutch, some Danes, who hid out Jews. Even a German, Schindler, Oskar Schindler, did it. We are a bad world when we can be a bad world, unless someone stops us. Hitler kind of stopped us. We finally had to recognize that we had to go after him. Hitler was not a successful immigrant who met upon hard times. Hitler was a murderer. You don't give a criminal a definition that's inconsequential to his acts. And that's where we're headed towards, America. Those of you that can't think on 2 or 3 subjects in one video, go away. Or hear this repeatedly. I don't want people to say they can't understand what's being talked about. You're not that stupid, America. Let me just show you. Got this one, Kinmapper. And all these other people have no connection. I know not who they are. And they send me to this site. This site, Twitter, fortunately was able to tell me, look to be a attack site. This guy is from Turkey. I think it's because of my ISIS post. I don't know, but he's primarily posting in Turkish. But he found me somehow. He found these other people. If they posted against ISIS, then he was trying to send us to a site that would attack us. We are in an evil world, America. An Australian member of Parliament went ballistic against the Turkish ambassador, talking about the Turks that are invading Austria, that they can't keep out because of the EU. Turkey should be thrown out of the EU, let's say suspended, until they cease their Islamic jihadism. This guy tells you what they say. He's Oskar Frasinger, not Oskar Schindler, Oskar Frasinger. He's in Berlin, but he's not a German. He's Germanic. Oskar Frasinger is from Switzerland. He's in the Swiss Parliament, and he says a lot of harsh things about all of the Muslims in Europe. They do not assimilate. Even the ones that do assimilate, you're not sure whether or not they are actually on your side or not. They may be the ones, in order to be into the center of the government at the time this all happens. It is not pretty what's happening in Europe. The Dutch are very upset about what has happened. Various cities have had major problems, and he talks about other problems. But the Austrian was the worst. If you do the Austrian went ballistic Parliament member, you'll find it. I'm not going to show it because I've already shown too much, and I think I got other things to talk about. So let's see, is there anyone here? Nope, nothing left here. The next thing to talk about is this. It's Christmas. No, it's a holiday. It's holiday season, because it's not Christmas. We aren't Christians. Well, by golly, that's what, listen to Oskar Frasinger. They are trying to take away our culture. The atheists, the agnostics, maybe even Jews don't want us to be Christian. Well, guess what? The Jews don't have that real problem. They are the home of the most persecuted religion in in the world. The most persecuted religion in the world was given a home by the Jews as long as they did not proselytize. And they are more than happy to follow government teachings. Who are they? Well, they're in Haifa. Don't you know who they are? No, you don't. They're the Baha'i. The Baha'i broke from a bunch of Islamic people who had a message from the Bab. The Bab got executed, as any heretic Muslim will get executed for preaching a new religion. But several different followers of him announced themselves to be the next one. And the one that was most successful is Baha'u'llah. Baha'u'llah set up the Baha'i faith. And it's a remarkable faith, even though it's very small. But the Iranians that are Baha'is have been just decimated by this guy that we're negotiating with. How can we negotiate with such people? How can Obama give them such incredible respect when they've lied to us repeatedly? That's a different story. I wasn't here for that. We're here for Christmas. And it's Christmas, and all is well. Well, not exactly. Because I put this Christmas tree up where it actually could be seen out my window. And it turned out that it was exactly where this, I guess he's an African prince, was seated, standing with his spear. He may actually be Emperor Haile Selassie's ancestor, because he's Ethiopian. He is not Kenyan. For anybody who thinks he's Kenyan, he's not. He's Ethiopian, most likely. And we have a president who said that only an emperor could violate the law and issue an executive order turning the illegal aliens into lawful guests of our country who have special privileges. They get a work permit. I don't have one. I can't get work. There's no work for me because there's too many people with less education seeking the jobs that I'm willing to take. But I've got 10 years of college. They won't hire me. And the school board won't hire me because they got an all-black high school. Well, they had one time anyway, and now they're dealing with it. But they were afraid that I would point out that that was illegal, particularly when it wasn't a very good high school to begin with and all. But did he issue that order that only an emperor could issue, he said? Is he our emperor? Is that Barack Obama's, is that his ideal, this guy? This Lion King? That's not exactly a lion pelt on his shoulder. Yes, he is. He has shown that he can do what an emperor does. 22 times he said he could not do it because it would be unlawful. It would violate the Constitution of the U.S. And then he does it. And guess what, America? All of white America approves that are the liberals. They want all the immigrants, their immigrants, what I call illegal aliens. There's not 11 million. There's probably 15 to 20 million, might be even more. They're in the shadows. They can't even be determined because a lot of them use lawful Social Security numbers of real people. They sometimes might be working with the liberals to be able to do that so that they combine incomes. I don't know it all. I do know that they do exist, and they're illegal. And there's a way. I had a bill that I suggested several times on that. But the real issue is Professor Gruber. He said we had to tell lies to get the thing passed. It wasn't fiscally sound. We had 400 million in Massachusetts that got us, and it would take for America, multiply that by 50, 400 million. That would be $20 billion we needed to fund it. Well, actually, we needed a lot more. So maybe the 400 million was pretty good. But in any event, they didn't tell us that, nor did they tell us anything else. And they admit that they lied in order to get the bill passed. It wouldn't have passed otherwise. That's a fraud. I have another video that talks about a fraud in the United States. I show the section number. I show the whole law that's pertinent to this. See it. Do it. Speak it. Go out there. Don't cower in your beds.